Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin, MikeKollin.com. Okay, so this video is going to be about the celebration. I know I've mentioned, like there's good news. So I wanted to make a video specific about that because no one else has done it. And the thing is, like I said in a lot of the videos is, and I understand why they're doing it, is because they've made it out of the nightmare. And now they want you to get out. And the reason why they're really going, raw, like, come on, is because they're like, guys, there's a way out. It's over here. Let me show you. But they're not. I think they're missing that. They're not quite. It's almost like you go to these videos and, oh God, these narcissists are fucking scary. No, when you get out of the nightmare tunnel, when you get out of the dark tunnel, here's what I used to hate. I used to hate it when people say, well, it's like there's light at the end of the tunnel, and like. So where, I remember when in my mid to late 20s, I finally yelled, where's the fucking light? Like, because they had no answers. They didn't even know what you were going through. They didn't understand. So, people like, yeah, I get, but Michael, they're well-intentioned. Well, this isn't about what well-intentioned. This is about actual steps, actual learning, and actual results of turning your life around. So here is the thing. When you get out of this tunnel, again, here's the thing. Listen closely. It's real simple. You got to learn the different pieces. You got to learn their behavior. You got to learn their patterns. You got to learn their strategies and their techniques on how they do things to you to close you down, to close your eyes and make you live in fear, right? When you see that stuff, it's like I said in the other video, it's like spotting a leopard. Like, well, here's what a leopard looks like. And I explain it. I draw a picture of it. I color it. I put the spots on it. Like, oh, that's a leopard. Because if you don't know what a leopard looks like, a leopard could walk right by. Like, wow, that's a real pretty cat. Wow. And then you're like, where's the leopards? See, that's the thing. When you're dealing with a narcissist, they act like they're your best friend. And I'm telling you what, a lot of you, especially if you're an empath, I'll tell you where your leopard is, or where your narcissist is. It's your best friend, who you think is your best friend, and that's gonna shock the living hell out of you. And I've got a list of things that I've been writing down, the videos I'm gonna make, and one of them is talking about. Let's see if I can get to that real quick. Where did I write it down? Oh, I know what it was. It was it's all these they make it movies like where their best friend completely was doing all this horrendous stuff to them, and they're like, how could you do that to me? You're my best friend. They were never your best friend. How to explain this? You were their best friend, but they were never your best friend, and they knew it. All right. And you're like, yeah, but they told me it. Yeah, that's what a narcissist does. They say a lot of bullshit. All right, so let's get back to the celebration part. Okay, that we kind of got off track. So there's a song here. Oops, let me undo that. There's a song here from I think it was the 80s or the 70s, late 70s by Kollin and the Gang. Let me turn it up a little bit. No, it's up quite a bit actually. And here it is. It's called Celebration by Kollin and the Gang. Greatest band in the world. Hey, YouTube didn't allow me to use that little clip of that song. I thought if you didn't have ads on your videos that you could use, I thought it was under 15 seconds of a song, but so I don't really know the rules, so I had to take it out. All right, that's Kollin and the Gang. Celebration's the name of that song. All right, so that's the thing. I'm going through my celebration stage still. Literally, I danced in the shower today, probably for the first time in years. You just see it so crystal clear. There's 4 words that I have on my website. You get your happiness, power, and your freedom and your love back. Meaning you get to open your heart again. Because when you pop, I call it pop, when you go supernova, I know I just find that kind of odd to say, but when you go supernova and you go super empath, when you see the light, all of a sudden, you're going to go through a phase where shields go up. And here's the thing, for empaths, you're not used to doing that. You're used to having this open heart and just this bleeding heart for everyone. And that's the thing, it's bleeding. That's not healthy for anyone. So if you think, oh yeah, I'm a bleeding heart, People are not complimenting you when they're saying, dude, you've got to have boundaries. And that right there, I'm going to have to do another video on boundaries. When you get the sting of all stings, you get boundaries. All of a sudden you're like, nope, this isn't acceptable. This isn't acceptable. This isn't acceptable. They were always there, but you never enforced them. But when you get to the point where you're like, I'm fucking done, I've had it, your barriers go up, your boundaries go up, okay? And a lot of people are like, well, what are boundaries? Well, I'm gonna do another video, but I'll give you an example. It's something that's another thing. You know, like it's similar to people saying, oh, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Here's another one. You gotta have boundaries. You gotta have boundaries. I've heard this from coaches, life coaches, therapists, energy healers, friends, teachers, a professor in college. Michael, you just gotta have boundaries. And it never dawned on me. Not one fucking person told me what the fuck a boundary was. I remember in my 20s, probably 22 is at college, it was a lady. I think she was a professor, but I think she was a counselor too. I'm trying to remember how I knew her. I went into her office. Yeah, she was in the administration of, I think she was both professor and worked administration. She says, you just gotta have boundaries, Michael. And I'm like, and I was frustrated because I'd heard that a lot. And I go, what are boundaries? And so here's the deal. And she goes, well, I just gotta, and forget what I answered, some lame answer. And it just made no sense. It was a quick 1 or 2 line thing and she walked off. Nobody tells you what boundaries are, let alone how to have them. A boundary is something that is unacceptable to you. So let's say somebody smokes and you don't like smoking. Okay, I'm not knocking smokers. That's not my point. But that's like, you're like, no, I'm not going to be in a relationship with you. That's not what I do. That's not part of my thing, right? When you get the sting of all stings, you will have boundaries. You're like, oh, fuck that. I'm not doing this. I'm like when people gaslight you, when they play word games with you called word salad. Okay, like one of my boundaries, I don't argue. I don't argue with people. I'll discuss stuff with you to understand you. I have a thing that I learned in NLP is like, you don't have to agree with me. And I tell all my clients this, like, it's totally okay for you not to believe what I'm telling you. You don't have to accept it and you don't have to agree with it. All I ask, and this is such a freeing thing, and you can see my clients go, all I ask is that you understand what I'm saying. At that point, you can make your own opinion, right? And I tell them, like, have you ever been saying A, but then somebody started arguing B, and you're like, but I'm not saying B. And they're like, yes, you are. Rawr. It's a very narcissistic tactic, by the way. But it also comes from, now here's the thing, where you got to be able to see the narcissist versus someone just misunderstanding you. Because their meaning, when they hear those words, means this, but you're like, no, my meaning is this, and other people's is this. Maybe not everyone, but some. And so a lot of times we get meanings mixed up. And that's what the gift of NLP is. You learn that we learn and have different meanings for the same word. Like to me, when you say this word or sentence, it means that. But to someone else, it might mean that. And that's where you got to learn how to communicate. Well, to me, when you say this, I think you mean that. So when you learn how to communicate on that level, you get understanding, you get clarity, okay? So let's go back to the celebration of all this stuff, okay? And yes, that is something I teach in my course, my relationship course, communication course. And also I used to teach it to small businesses. All right. Actually, one of them wasn't that small. It was Hewlett Packard. So I taught them a group of executives there. So let's go back to the celebration. And what happens when you get to that stage of you popped? I'm going to give you a quick thing. I actually wrote it down right here. Is when you first really, really see it and you see the mask and then when you see behind it and you see the darkness, you're like, what the fuck? It will freak you the fuck out. You're in for the first time in your life, you're like, this person's demonic. And first time I saw it, I was like, what the fuck? And my first thought was, what the fuck is this? And then I flashed back to my pastor when I was 21, I think, 22, Pastor Rex. And he said, he was a very good man, very loving, very compassionate man. And he goes, Michael, there are some people that are unsavable. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, that was kind of, to me, as an empath, what do you mean everyone's savable? You just got to work hard and save them. And he's like, no. He goes, Michael, some people are demonic. He goes, they're like an empty shell inside. They're like this they're this body walking around without a spirit or a soul. Like there's nothing there. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, I didn't believe it. I didn't want to hear that. No empath does, right? No compassionate person. But when you see it, you're going to be like, and I was like, oh, that's what it is. Like, oh my God, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And I go, how do I get out without them figuring it out? And so it was funny because at this point I had seen it. And it was kind of mind blowing that they couldn't tell that I saw it. And at one point I would literally point out, like, I know what you're doing. I see what you're doing. You're doing the word salad game. You're doing the blah, blah, blah. And so just to let you know before we go on to more of the celebration, they will argue about anything. And you're like, why are we even arguing? Like, this is the stupidest thing. Like, what is this? And this isn't another part of like they don't make sense. It's because they want to constantly keep you in a fight or flight stage to where your eyes are closed so you can't see them. Because when your eyes pop open, you'll look around and go, oh my God. And they don't want that. They don't want to see that. And that's what's happening out in the world right now. People's eyes are popping open because the light is here. The light is coming down onto the planet and it's revealing. The book of Revelations, reveal, revelation, same word, all right? And so, I don't know. I'm probably going to go back to celebration, but it's there's a lot of mind-blowing things going on here. And when you see it, you're, okay, this was it. So here, my notes right here. You're going to go through a stage of fear and panic when you first see it, like this shit's real, holy fucking, oh my God, and you're gonna be like, and it'll probably last for, I don't know, a month, maybe 2 months, but you kind of go through phases, and here's the phases. First is fear and panic. The next one is you get the sting. You're gonna feel the sting, and then you're gonna go through a stage where you see it in every person that you've dealt with since you were a child. You're like, oh my God, because you see the patterns. For the first time in your life, you can see, oh, that's a leopard. Oh, that's a leopard. Okay, now I know what a leopard is. Now I know what a narcissist is. And what's going to happen is you're going to flip back in your life at all the people that were mean to you. It doesn't mean all the people that were mean. They may have just been having a bad day, or they were just an asshole. It doesn't mean someone's a narcissist, right? They're just a mean person. Maybe that's what it is. So you're going to reflect back. And you're going to be like, oh my God, that person always started arguments. They always did this. They always did this. Here's another one. They purposely will misunderstand you. So here's the celebration part. You're going to see all these different things. Those are just a couple I gave you. And you're going to be like, oh my God. And it's going to make you really sad. It's going to make you very depressed. It's going to make you just like, life really does suck. Fuck. And you're going to be like, there's no hope. And that's the next stage. And then what happens is, you start seeing that the narcissist is terrified of you now. And that's, because you've become the lion. In the Bible, Jesus says that when Christ comes back for the second time, he comes back as the lion. Well, what does Christ mean? Well, one of the meanings of Christ in the Bible is faith. One who can see. And remember, it says, when Christ comes back as the lion, he's going to come back to devour. And in order to see, you have to be in your right brain, okay? The left brain is the closed mind. The right brain is the open brain that can see. Okay, so all I'm trying to say here is that, okay, you're asleep. Humans are asleep, 90+%, but people are starting to wake up. And when you wake up, that's the second coming of what I call faith, because love and faith is what opens the artery in their lower reptilian brain, which opens you up to the right brain, which is their spiritual brain. And that's all I'm saying. So when you come back as the lion. Remember, the right brain is the emotional brain. So when you get mad, that's where you're at, okay? And that's when the lion gets pissed off. He's very passionate, which is very right brain. So in boxing, since I was a kid, in kickboxing and all fight sports, they would tell you to stay calm, to stay loose, to stay relaxed. Because when you do that, that artery in your lower reptilian brain is wide open, which allows the blood to flow up into the larger human brain, thus the right brain, which is the natural brain. You don't want to be in the logical brain. When you're in a state of fear, you're in your logical brain thinking, and you cannot win a fight when you're thinking. You have to be natural and in the flow. And you'll hear that from every boxing coach and every professional fighter. Okay, you've got to be in the flow. And the right brain is the natural flow state. That's what all martial artists and Bruce Lee talk about. Bruce Lee says, be like water, my friend, and flow. Okay? These fires that you're seeing are the Northern California fires. The first one was the Golden Gate Bridge. It literally looked apocalyptic here for about a week. The skies were orange. That was during the middle of the day, noon. The second picture, where it's very bright cherry orangish fire, is Bass Lake. And this one, I believe, the third one is Napa Valley, where I'm from. Okay, so you might be asking, like, well, how do you know? Because I woke up when I was 28, and I mean, I woke up wide awake. And this is when no one else was awake. There was no YouTube, there was nothing. And people are like, what do you mean you're awake? What does that mean? So when you wake up, you can see who's asleep. When you have your, I'm going to call it your second coming, okay? I'm not saying you're Jesus. I'm not saying that. You're going to feel powerful, though. You'll come back as a lion. When you wake up, you go through these stages of fear and panic and, oh my God, confusion, and then understanding, and then and you come back as a lion, a powerful lion. And when you get to that point, narcissists are going to fucking fear you. They're going to fucking... The first thing they're going to do... I just had this happen to me last night. Now, someone who I hadn't seen in months because of coronavirus. We've all been isolated. I did see him about 3 or 4 months ago, like real briefly waving as we, walked by down the street or whatever, getting our cars. But I hadn't actually talked to him in a year or 2, maybe 2 years. It's been a long time. Like, yeah, I'd say 2 years. I've changed since then. Well, he's, hey, Mike, what's going on? And then his face got all fucking like, fuck. And he starts like he brought up just any subject. And he was like yelling at me. And I'm looking at him like, what the fuck's he yelling? I'm like, oh, he can see it. He's like, oh, shit, this dude's awake. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a lion. Because my demeanor's different. I'm totally different. I'm just like, but I'll even have like a smile or open. And the fact that I wasn't, oh, hey, how's it going? All submitting and being scared because, hey, what's wrong, dude? Did I do something wrong? I wasn't doing, I was just like, how's it going, man? And he's yelling at me. And then he changes it to politics. And he goes, I'm going to bring up politics now. And I went, who says that? And I was like, oh, here it comes. And well, we've never talked politics. He doesn't know what I think or believe or don't. I'm a very neutral person, by the way. So it was just bizarre. And I was like, oh, fuck, he sees it. He's scared. So you come back as a lion. And here's the thing. You start to see, they're afraid of me. And then here's the other thing you see. You will flash back to the narcissist that you dealt with for 6 months or a year or however long, maybe years, 8 years. I think it was my longest one, my ex-girlfriend. Well, unless you consider my mom and my family, that was the longest. Is you will see all the times they were looking at you like, hee, and they got this, hee, and they try to, like, when you start to say, hey, that's me, and they're like, oh, no, it's not him, I'm just fighting with you. It's like, the minute you kind of start to say, wait, that's not right, what are you doing? Oh, and they laugh at her, hey, I gotta go now. And you see all this bullshit. And you go, oh my God, they were scared. All those moments when they were doing all that, they were scared. I was like, oh, shit. But as an empath, or even as an open-hearted, compassionate, caring person, you're just like, well, it's okay. I'm going to overlook the fact. I mean, that's what unconsciously, this is what you're doing. You're overlooking the fact that this person fucking hurt you and you caught them. And you started calling them out on it. And I'm your best friend, remember? Oh, I'm sorry. And, they're not sorry. They might throw the word out there, but they don't mean it. Because they're going to do it again. They'll do it again 5 minutes later. And that's where I started seeing. I look back, they'd sit there and apologize or be like, and they do it again. They do it again. They do it again. And this is why you got to get the fuck up. You got to cut them out of your life. Otherwise, you're destroying yourself. So here's what happens. So once you see that you're the lion, and I mean a big 500-600 pound powerful young lion, you see how small they are. You also see they're not smart. They've been just doing these same patterns with every single person. And once they see that you see it, they run and they go to other people. They run like cowards. You're going to see that they're not. It's like, I'm trying to think. I wish I could find an image. Sorry, I got a little spittle in there. An image of like this big mask in front of a person, and behind is this little tiny mouse, and it's like a puppet. But the real them is this little tiny fucking mouse. Not even a mouse. It's a gnat that you could crush with your thumb or just flick it. When you see that, you're going to be like, celebrate good times, come on. And you're just going to be like your life is going to be like, you're going to go through a stage of hysterical laughter. You will go through a stage of hysterical laughter. In fact, if you see some downtown or someone calls you, you'll burst out laughing at them. And they'll be like, what are you laughing at? Here's what I do. I'll like people that will return from the best, like, I see you. Like, what? Like, I see you. Like, what? Nothing. So it becomes a celebration. Now here's let's see. I got some more notes on the other page. Okay. Getting it. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. You get your life back. You get your life back. Okay? That is mind-blowing. You get a physical, emotional energy to where you feel confident and you feel, yeah, I can do that. All of a sudden, you go from gaining weight, and you do, don't you? And here's another thing. If you're spiraling up and down, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, like you go on this diet, and then 6 weeks, a couple months later, you're off the diet, and then you get back on the diet, and a couple weeks later, you're off the diet. It's because there's this whole narcissistic thing going on where there's this impending doom. I'm going to make another video about that. I don't want to. I've actually got that on the list. But that goes away, and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get back in shape. And you know it. It's a feeling. You don't have to force it. You don't have to get fired up. I can do it. And every day you wake up, and after 6 weeks, I can't do it. Because there's just like this fucking weight of these narcissists beating you down every fucking day. I'm telling you, this is going to be the greatest day of your life. Let me give a couple more. You're going to get your happiness, power, freedom, and love back. You're going to be able to open your heart again and love people. Now, when you go through that stage, you're going to close up. You're going to be like the walls, like that castle, I forget what they call it, and you're up there looking out and at the world and hiding and protecting yourself because you go out. And when I first went outside, I was just like, who is this person? I was just like, I wasn't friendly to nobody. And people would tell, like, well, what's going on with this guy? The cashiers at stores, like, because they could tell, like, this isn't who this guy normally is. So you're going to lose weight. You're going to get your motivation back. You're going to be like, life's going to be like, fuck yeah. And all of a sudden, you're going to be on path. For the first time in your life, you're going to be on path. You're going to know who you are. You're going to know what you want to do, and you're going to go do it. Because now you can see, it's kind of like before you were being hunted, but you didn't even know what was going on. I like to reflect back to deer hunting. They call it a sport, but the thing is the deers don't have a high-powered rifle to fight back in this sport. It's an unfair sport, and they don't even know what the fuck's going on. So they're running around in a panic going, fuck, what's going on, right? And it's just like they don't know, like, well, when is hunting season? No one tells them. So they don't know when you can relax. They're like, fuck it, I'm just going to avoid those people forever. And so you take your whole life in avoidance. Right? They call it approach avoidance. I get a lot of clients that are terrified of approaching women. I'll tell you why. Because they're empaths that have been dealing with narcissists who've been ripping their souls out. And they're like, dude, I don't even want to do this anymore. I'm terrified of women. I can't do this. Well, the wrong women are connecting with you, bro. And you have to be able to see them or you're screwed. You're just going to keep getting hurt. So here's the other thing. The cloudiness goes away. Your mental confusion and the doubt, all that, it goes away. And all of a sudden, you got clarity. All of a sudden, you can see the light. Again, the weight gain goes away. The sluggishness, the unbelievable exhaustion goes away. Your motivation comes back, right? I think that's it for this video. So this really is a celebration, and I am not kidding. It is going to blow your mind. Hey, this is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com, MikeKollin.com. I've been a personal development life coach. I'm an NLP trainer, master Ericksonian hypnotherapist, master timeline therapist, and certified in 3 different forms of energy healing. And I've been going to energy healers for over 25 years. I don't know if it's 30 years now. It's been a long time. I'm highly qualified at helping you. Okay, and I have grown up in the whole narcissist world, okay? Get on path, celebrate your life. God bless you.